It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, The Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Welcome back to another week. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan of the Sloan Realty Group here on Hot Talk 99.5 WRNN. You're going to hear a lot of great information over the next 30 minutes as far as real estate is concerned. I'll have numbers that I'll repeat for you throughout the course of the show that you can go ahead and ask questions about. One of them is just the email address. It is ask@blakesloanradio.com. The website is blakesloanradio.com. And the phone number is 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD in case you'd like to get in touch with Blake Sloan from the Sloan Realty Group for yourself and ask any questions and find out what he can do for you. Blake, it is a buying weekend. It's a holiday weekend. People are in a buying mood. And I know that you've got a lot of information that you're going to be going over the next 30 minutes that might get people a little bit more into the buying mood.
Absolutely. We've got some great stuff to cover for both buyers and sellers. And I hope everyone survived the craziness of Black Friday and the shopping, had a great holiday. But we got some awesome stuff, and we're kind of let you in some insider secrets in regards to what we use. We're going to show you one tool that we use in our office that less than 1% of real estate agents use in the country, but gets 300% more buyer conversion in regards to getting homes sold and generating buyers for your house to get sold. Another is a certain type of photo that you can use to get your home viewed 61% more online by potential home buyers versus just traditional way that most people use. And for any of you buyers out there, we're definitely not going to forget about you. We're going to share the number one mistake that home buyers make in today's marketplace. And literally, no joke, we see it cost people thousands every single day. Those aren't our clients, of course, but we see it happen all the time. And 9 out of 10 people or buyers that we meet with, we're unaware of it until we're able to educate them. And very, very happy for doing so. So we'll cover that, show you that. And, of course, the usual smoking hot deals we got. We got one really good commercial deal that's even less than a lot of houses, and some great stuff, foreclosure and stuff we'll share with you.
Well, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we've had Blake Sloan from the Sloan Realty Group on with us for several weeks now, doing the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, and I've learned a lot. I admittedly don't know a lot about real estate, so this is a good way for you to learn. And obviously, if you're looking for something specific, Blake Sloan can help you out with that. In case you don't know about Blake, he's been dubbed the Real Estate Whiz Kid, been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, NBC, Realtor Magazine, and other national publications. Been endorsed by a couple of our hosts here on the radio station, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity as well. Now, last week, we were talking about how you and your team work together and how a good portion of your success has come from your trademark systems that you've developed to help both buyers and sellers right here in the Myrtle Beach market. If you could, recap everyone who's new to the show exactly what those systems are, and if you can give a quick overview of how they work.
Absolutely, and there's two separate ones. So one's obviously for sellers getting their home sold. It's our Guaranteed Sold system, and it's trademark. It's a proven system that has proven people ways to sell your home faster and for up to 21% more money. And how we do that, we practically manage all the variables. There's over 100 in the home selling process to help maximize every single one. And I'll kind of tell you about that as well. The others are Unfair Advantage home buying system, where there's a lot more. We'll cover that today too. There's a lot more than just, looking at homes online and finding the right one. There's so many other aspects that get mismanaged and cost you thousands of dollars. And we'll educate you on that as well. And we're also going to finish up what we were talking about before. That's the single most important variable that determines success or failure as a home seller in today's marketplace. And which, if you missed that last week, it's 100% the agent that you choose. And I'm going to say it again, the single most important variable that determines your success or failure as a home seller is the agent that you choose. Where most people make the mistake of thinking that real estate agents are a commodity, they're all the same, but that couldn't be further from the truth. It's about like saying that college football teams are all the same. And that's not even close. You pretty much can ask any Tennessee fan that this year. And, I don't want to step on any toes here locally, but, I'm not talking about Clemson and USC where they're very similar. Let's say Alabama versus Tennessee, right? They get face-to-face, head-to-head. It's probably not the same outcome there. Same principles, same game, same basic fundamentals. But what happens is small leverage points are multiplied to create a massive increase and massive difference in the end. Right, a better example of that would probably be, and this is real life, we're seeing our market every single day, is in Alabama versus Davidson College, right? Same game, same age players, same equipment, everything. Maybe, same type of defense or offenses, But the difference there is the execution, their leverage. And that's exactly what our guaranteed sold system does. It creates maximum leverage at every single point possible. Then you multiply leverage times 100 plus different variables through the home selling process. And that's how our homes are selling 200 to 300% faster and for 20% more money. Right? It's the same exact game, different outcome. And that's something that's so important for people to realize. And we'll get into that a little bit today, but it's actually that same way on both for the buyer side and the seller side. And it's all about how you execute your team and also the tools and stuff that you have.
We've got that and a whole lot more coming up throughout the course of this next 25 minutes or so. That we've got the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan from the Sloan Realty Group. If you do have any questions, again, phone number to call would be 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. The email address, ask@blakesloanradio.com, ask@blakesloanradio.com, or you can just go to the website and find out more at blakesloanradio.com. That would be the best thing to do, the best place to go, get all the great information on there as well, or you can just listen to the next 25 minutes. Coming up next, going to be giving you some updates on the actual real estate marketing throughout the Grand Strand area, and also be looking at some mortgage updates as well. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan on Hot Talk 99.5 WRNN.
Do you need to sell your home? Hello, it's Glenn Beck, and I know how frustrating it is. I mean, I honestly sold my home a couple of weeks ago, and it took me a year and a half to do it. And I want to tell you about a realtor based in Myrtle Beach that I have personally met with. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group, who has an immediate buyout program that allows you to sit down with him, determine a price and a deadline. And if Blake doesn't sell it on time, Blake's going to buy it for cash. Now, this isn't smoke and mirrors. Blake owns a property management company and is always looking for great properties in Myrtle Beach to turn into rentals. But more importantly, month after month, Blake uses aggressive marketing to attract hundreds of buyers from all around the U.S. that helps his homes sell faster and for the most money. Working with Blake puts you at no risk. If he doesn't live up to his end of the contract, he lets you tear it up so you can work with somebody else. Give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or BlakesGuarantee.com. That's BlakesGuarantee.com.
Welcome back to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan of the Sloan Realty Group. Phone number 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. That should be a number that's burned into your brain by now. You've heard it enough here on the radio station. If you ever have any realty questions, that would be the place to go. 808-SOLD for the Sloan Realty Group and Blake Sloan. Before we went to break, we got some specifics out there as far as how things are looking in the market right now as far as real estate. So what's the latest housing report look like, Blake?
We actually just got a national report this past week from the National Association of Realtors, and they're very similar. And I'm going to kind of, I guess, overall sales were up 2.1% over the previous month, and they have the sales up 10.9% compared year to year over last year. But there's a really tricky part that's kind of important to bring out where, it's almost like the jobless numbers or certain things that you see. There's certain other trends, or, if you're looking at that macro level, it's very helpful to look at. But the tricky part is they're showing like an 11.1% up versus last year in regards to median home price. And that's not matching up with anywhere we're at here locally. And also, they take into account everything. It doesn't, break down condos, homes, things like that in their actual big report, in those numbers at least. That's why we focus a lot more on the local numbers and more of the micro market, because that shows exactly where we're at. Just kind of a quick comparison. Here, we talked about this last week, is home sales here up 15.1% year to date, but median home price is down 2.44%. And that's just a little bit, I guess, because different areas you'll see recover differently. Like you always saw, Florida, California, Las Vegas, things like that. They obviously they grew a lot faster before, and they crashed a lot harder. We're kind of usually 6 months behind them, but I still think there's a lot of uncertainty overall, which we talked about multiple times. But just another point that's a lot different is condo sales are up 8.7%. Year over year, but median sales price is down 4.6. So you can see that difference there. We covered last week how a lot of that has to do with second homes, and obviously the single-family homes are going to be a lot more stronger here because people obviously want to be a first-time home buyer, things like that, before venturing into that investment property stuff as well.
Well, to see the condo sales up is very encouraging, because everything that I've been seeing in the newspapers and stuff like that, and again, I'm just kind of looking at it from the periphery, but condo sales seem to be lacking big time in the Myrtle Beach area.
And they were for the longest time and that's kind of what we were seeing is even through the foreclosure side, we've seen it kind of transition from each little, I guess, not demographic, but each area where it went to, at first, obviously, investment properties, because someone, let's say they live up north, have a second home here, they're going to let that go first before the primary residence. And you see it kind of go back through. Then most recently, we kind of saw a trend going to second homes where they're more of annual rentals. There may not be much cash flow. The people owe way more than it's worth, and they're probably having a small negative cash flow. And we've seen that kind of function through. And now we've seen some other things kind of float through there. We're going to talk about, too, where the foreclosure sale was fairly large last month, and it's probably pretty small December, but there's supposedly still that shadow inventory that's looming out there that we're probably going to see first quarter into second quarter of next year that may slide a little bit, because the reason we've seen these small gains in other areas is inventory's been down, especially in those fast-growing areas. But some other national numbers is just so kind of people can see, first-time home buyers accounted for 31% of the purchases in October. And cash sales were 29% of all transactions in October. And that's nationally. And we're fairly close and similar to where we're at here. And investors that purchased accounted for 20% of those homes in October. And that's just kind of a cool little fact. Another one is really important, anybody on the buy side and also on the seller side as well. But foreclosures and short sales are selling at deep discounts, which we always know that. But they accounted for 24% of October sales. But the important thing here is foreclosures sold an average discount of 20% below market value in October, and short sales were discounted 14%. So there's a lot of value there in regards to buyers if they want to, take advantage of the opportunity, along with mortgage rates, things like that. But also, anybody has a traditional home sale, you can still compete with that. That's what our whole system is built for, the guaranteed sold system, because buyers will pay a premium for what they want. If something's already turnkey, a lot of people will walk into a foreclosure and no way, they walk back out. That's too much work. Some love it, and we've even seen some that are in perfect shape. You never really know, but they're still, able to be done. And again, they only account for 24% of the entire marketplace.
Right.
There's still 75 more that do. But just so everyone knows, if you want to get real-time market stats in Myrtle Beach, graphs by zip code, we have all that in the site for you guys. It's BlakeSloanRadio.com. Look for the link up there. It says real-time stats, and you guys can bookmark that. It's just a free service we offer for everybody anytime you guys need something.
Well, like I said earlier in the show, people are in a buying mood. We're in the weekend here as far as the first weekend of Christmas shopping. And if people are looking to buy, you might want to look to go to BlakeSloanRadio.com and find out more, or call Blake at 808-SOLD. Now, one of the things that determines, Blake, whether or not people are going to get into the home buying business is to whether or not the mortgage rates are favorable. So what does the mortgage update look like?
Right, we're still, based on today, we're still kind of where we were exactly last week in regards to a local lender here that we use. But just as an example, a 30-year fixed rate is 3.375%. It's unbelievable. 15-year fixed rate, 2.75%. And obviously those are conventional loans, but there's unprecedented lows in regards to mortgage rates right now that everybody really is a huge opportunity. It doesn't matter if you're refinancing, if you're looking for a purchase. We've talked before how you can literally buy a house and have a less monthly payment while you're building equity than you can, renting a lot of places. And that's something that's huge. And just kind of a little outlook stuff too is we talked a little about, Bernanke announcing, the Fed's basically kind of helping buy mortgage-backed securities. They're putting a ton of money into it. And he actually just gave a speech this past week that says, housing market's still on shaky ground. So just kind of see, they've reiterated, hey, look, we're going to be behind this a little bit. But they say a lot of that has to do with that it's come through the challenging parts, a lot of it, but it's being held back by overly tight lending standards. And they say basically, look, it was corrected, obviously, after the bubble, but they may have gone a little too far. He kind of gave a little hint. So it helps us see what's they're trying to do, but they affirm the Fed will not stop supporting the housing market. So that's very good. There's obviously a little uncertainty with the financial cliff, things like that. But the great thing is, kind of separate from that, is that the bonds, basically, a lot of people have still put money in there with the uncertainty in Europe, things like that. They're keeping rates low, but it's forecasted to go up starting first of next year into first and second quarter. So if you're looking to do anything, great time in regards to prices being low, and you have so much more buying power right now with those interest rates compared to what they were just a few years ago.
You're listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show along with Blake Sloan from the Sloan Realty Group. If you've got any questions about what Blake's going over so far during the show today or what you're going to be hearing coming up, 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD is the phone number that you can call anytime, 808-SOLD. You could also email your questions, and we can answer them either in person or we can get them here on the radio station. Ask at BlakeSloanRadio.com, ask at BlakeSloanRadio.com. Either way, you can get in touch with Blake and get your real estate questions answered. find out what's going on and how Blake and the Sloan Realty Group can help you buy or sell. It's what it's all about. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Coming up in just a second, going to be talking about what we started talking about last week, the home sellers' biggest challenges, and also just coming up in a few minutes at the end of the show, got some great deals, at least one super hot deal that Blake will let you in on, the skinny. That's all coming up during the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan on Hot Talk 99.5 WRNN.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what does it take to sell your home fast and for the most money in Myrtle Beach? Blake Sloan, Sloan Realty Group, has a system for attracting buyers that's so effective, he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he'll have it bought with cash. Now, how can he do this? It's simple. Now, the average realtor in Myrtle Beach sells less than 10 homes a year and attracts a handful of buyers a month. Blake Sloan spends thousands of dollars and attracts hundreds of buyers every month, which creates demand for his homes and helps them sell within weeks, not months, and for top dollar. Now, you risk nothing, since if at any point you're not happy, Blake Sloan, well, he lets you fire him and you pay nothing. Now, the phone call is easy. Not knowing your options or getting bad advice, well, that can cost a small fortune. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or get a free home evaluation at blakesguarantee.com. That website again, blakesguarantee.com.
Back with the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan from the Sloan Realty Group on Hot Talk 99.5. 808-SOLD is Blake's phone number, 808-SOLD, or ask at blakesloanradio.com. Of course, the website by itself is just Blake Sloan Radio, blakesloanradio.com. You can go there and find out everything you need to know, buying, selling, whatever you're looking to do. Now, Blake, last week we started talking about the home sellers' biggest challenges. And one of the facts that I was shocked to hear about is that over 50% of homes that are being put on the market fail to sell. That's not a good thing. We also learned a little bit about the trademark guaranteed sold system that you've designed to help solve some of the challenges and not only get those houses sold, but sold up to 2 times faster and for up to 21% more money.
Exactly. And that's, we scoured the entire country, world, bought every single coaching program, book, anything to help learn and study other industries. And we reverse engineered the entire process, every single aspect, the entire home selling process, and we make sure we create leverage at every possible place. And we kind of broke those down to 7 power principles. And we covered those, last week. We talked about number 1 and number 2, which was expert advantage strategic analysis, where you kind of just figure out, okay, what exactly is the situation? Where are you at? Where do we need to be? And what's D-Day? A lot of strategy. Most people go right in without figuring out exactly what that is. That's how we're able to tightrope, that difference between how much money we get to maximize and how fast we get it sold. And we talked about expert advantage power positioning, where we position your house in the marketplace a lot better. We find instant ways to, that perceived value to be increased there, whether it be, instant equity drivers, staging, creating more value, pre-inspection. A lot of things we're able to do, identify any potential deal killers up front, get those figured out, and kind of go through there. Today we're going to talk about Power Principle 3 and 4, which is Expert Advantage Massive Marketing Exposure and Expert Advantage Buyers in Waiting. And those are powerful parts, and really kind of my favorite being a marketer. But yeah, the Expert Advantage Massive Marketing Exposure is really cool. I think I showed you some stuff earlier with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing, is that, getting out there and getting exposed is so important. And if you're looking at marketing, there's so many ways that you do it. It used to be different back, 25 years ago. If you were trying to sell a house, a sign. I mean, what else could you do? Maybe an ad in the newspaper. Today, it's changed. And even though that's only one part of your trademarked thing that you do here, you've kind of broken it up into two parts. The first part is the internet. Obviously, you have to be on the internet, right?
Absolutely, and that's huge. Where we feel that the exposure is your single most important leverage point in regards to maximizing that demand for your property. We talk about how maximizing that value is the difference in supply and demand. We're able to literally increase that demand by doing so, and do that through a massive exposure. And as we all know, the internet exposure, 90+% of home buyers use the internet when they're searching for a home. Right, probably more than that now. But the internet strategic exposure, we make sure that we're investing a massive amount of money to get that listing syndicated and sent to all the major websites. So it's not just the ones that we have. We'll talk about that, but we have hundreds of websites just that we own in regards to are certain domains and websites that we have for both buyers and sellers. We have branded websites, what we call, their Sloan Realty Group and team names, things like that. We also have a lot of unbranded sites, which are free informational sites, things out there to help buyers, help them get information. But at the same time, we're able to get that buyer's information, help them get access to those properties, and we're able to share those and match our sellers up with our buyers, which is very, very helpful. But on top of that, there's a big thing in all the listing syndication, the systems out there that we're able to make sure that we get ownership of those listings, that they're out there and there's correct information, a lot of cool stuff we're doing with it. But in regards to those unbranded sites, everybody kind of hates dealing with a salesperson. That's why, hey, look, here's a non-threatening way to get the information that you want, the best deals, list in certain neighborhoods, whatever it may be, and they convert 10 to 1. So you have original, hey, look, it's Blake Sloan website, same exact stuff as the unbranded site, it'll convert 10 to 1. And I think it's just more non-threatening, but the value there, hey, we're able to get them what they want. We give them access to, we have one of the top IDX, which is MLS search sites in the whole country, and we invest massive amount of money, literally $5,000-$6,000 a month, every single month in these sites to make sure that we're able to, one, get exposure for your listings and your properties, and we're also able to get those leads, match them up, because that's kind of what we really do. We're just a matchmaker there, but the advantage is we're getting over 500 plus buyer leads every single month that we can match up with home sellers that we have, and we do that first simply because that's what we were hired to do.
Well, people are empowered on the internet. They love to be able to go on the internet and find the deals, whether it's a hotel, a plane deal, or something like that. So being able to get out there and expose these properties on the internet and have people do a little bit of the work themselves, it makes them feel like they're more involved in what's going on. And actually, they kind of like that. So it's great to see that, and getting that kind of exposure is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, now also in addition to the marketing exposure that you have this broken down, the first one we just talked about, the internet exposure, but part of this power principle is also what you call the expert advantage technology tools. What's that all about?
This is probably one of my favorites, just because I don't know if I'm just like a gadget guy or what with it, but we do a lot of research, right? We reverse engineer every possible aspect. We invest a lot of money to get this research and data because that's how we're able to plan to win. But one thing you mentioned earlier, it's just kind of a crazy fact, but there's this one certain tool we mentioned that less than 1%, it's actually 0.08% of realtors use it nationwide, but generates 300% more buyers, and that's high definition video tours. And that's an amazing thing. I thought that was pretty simple. We kind of, we invested a lot of money into those, make sure you have great guided video tours. YouTube, everybody's kind of familiar with the video craze there, but there's a lot more to that. We're able to generate that much leverage with that one single thing. And here's a big mind-blowing thing that's crazy that most people don't realize. In a study that came out, National Association of Realtors had it published on their site recently, that the difference between DSLR photos and traditional photos, if you have DSLR, which is professional photography, usually can make them look better. Anybody can do that, but professional DSLR photos were viewed 61% more online than pictures that were used a simple point and shoot. So do you think that's a point of leverage there? Massively, right? So if you got people that view your listing 61% more, you do that, every single listing, that's how we're able to do it piece by piece here. And the crazy thing here is that those online that commanded 47% more asking price. So obviously, most of those online are probably the higher end certain ones. We do that for everything that we have on our traditional listing side. And the crazy fact here is that less than 15% of realtors use DSLR photos or cameras in regards to their listings. So those two pieces right there are massive leverage that most people don't see. These little things add up piece by piece by piece, like we talked about with the football example. That's the difference between Alabama and Davidson College. Those little things like that to make a big difference. And it's something really cool that we've done. It's not really the factual of it yet, but we've invested. We even have the remote control helicopters. That's a quadcopter that goes up and does the aerial video and things. So it's really cool stuff. We do a lot of different things, innovative consumer programs, obviously radio, all kind of great things we're able to do to get that technology and create massive leverage. And those are just a few of the little parts there.
Okay, well, that's number 3. We've quick overview of massive marketing exposure. That's number 3, the power principle and your expert advantage. Now let's go to number 4. Power principle number 4. You call that buyers in waiting. What's that all about?
The good value about having such a great team of professionals that work with us is we're a team. We operate as a team. We're not just a brokerage where it's each person, every man for himself. We work together. So we have certain agents that are buyer experts, and they basically work with a lot of buyers. And we do a whole balance here. We all meet together, we work together, and we match them up with certain ones. But through all the technology, all the benefits that we offer buyers, we have over 500 active buyers who are looking to purchase at all times. And our goal, because this is what we're paid to do and hired to do, is match them up with those deals and those listings that we have. And that's a big thing where a lot of people, where there's, if an agent is a single person show, they're out there trying to get that next listing. And meanwhile, that listing is usually not getting serviced, right? They're not matching those buyers up with our team setup. We're able to match the buyers up with the listings that we have. We're able to help all through that entire process. But that's another way of us creating more demand for those properties. Each person on our real estate team is certified real estate expert. They can help both buyers and sellers with that. But each of our buyers agents are working with 40 plus buyers. We have an immediate response system where we have our own in-house concierge to help anyone that has any questions about homes they're searching for. So someone's there to answer all the time to get those questions answered and funnel into our listings that we have. And the other part is just really, really key for anybody that needs to sell quickly. One is we basically have that guaranteed sale program where we can get it sold. We buy it, we can buy it ourselves. Also, we have full-time investors who that's all they do is they buy and sell property. A huge list of people that with cash they can buy quickly. So anyone needs to sell quickly, we can get you a good offer within 48 hours a lot of times. And that's obviously, it's probably a little less than market because you're getting it sold immediately. But we have people who are professional home buyers can come in immediately. Anybody behind on payments, if you need to get out quickly, whatever it may be, we have a full list and large list of clients who buy all the time. Some bought 10, 20, 30 houses from us. And we also have large funds and groups that have reached out to us and are buying large bulk properties and also any properties that we have. And people that trust us, hey, look, give us this deal. They look at it and they purchase all the time. So there's a lot of huge things that we have for anybody that needs to sell quickly, especially behind on payments or anything like that. It's a great opportunity.
All right. Well, last week we looked at number 1 and number 2 in the expert advantage. This week with number 3, massive market exposure, and we just heard number 4, buyers in waiting. Next week on the next week's show, we'll be talking about number 5, 6, and 7 as far as your guaranteed sold system and the 7 power principles. We'll talk about that. If you have any questions, Blake Sloan, make sure and get those questions in. 808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. You can also go to the website blakesloanradio.com. Coming up in just a minute, also got a couple minutes left. We're going to find out what the deal of the week is, and we'll get some finishing words on this week's show from Blake Sloan in the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan and the Sloan Realty Group here on Hot Talk 99.5 WRNN.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what does it take to sell your home fast and for the most money in Myrtle Beach? Blake Sloan, Sloan Realty Group, has a system for attracting buyers that's so effective, he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he'll have it bought with cash. Now, how can he do this? It's simple. Now, the average realtor in Myrtle Beach sells less than 10 homes a year and attracts a handful of buyers a month. Blake Sloan spends thousands of dollars and attracts hundreds of buyers every month, which creates demand for his homes and helps them sell within weeks, not months, and for top dollar. Now, you risk nothing, since if at any point you're not happy, Blake Sloan, well, he lets you fire him and you pay nothing. Now, the phone call is easy. Not knowing your options or getting bad advice, well, that can cost a small fortune. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or get a free home evaluation at blakesguarantee.com. That website again, blakesguarantee.com.
You're listening to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan of the Sloan Realty Group. Blake, we only have about 2 minutes left here real quick. Before we get to the deal of the week, a lot of people always call up and say, hey, what mistake am I making? Why can't I sell my home? What is the number one mistake that you see out there in the marketplace?
We'll definitely cover this next week better. But it's not having a buyer's agent that's representing them. Most people think it's just looking for houses and searching, and that's just one single aspect of it. There's so much more to it. And there's things like getting priority access to deals. There's a lot more than just searching websites that, where the feed is delayed a day or two. The best deals go so fast, and we'll cover in detail next week exactly all the reasons why, all the way from mortgages to representation, all the things that they're there. But we have a huge list. Anybody's looking just the deals we have. We got 38 bank-owned properties last month that are actually coming, actually the first of this month, that are coming to market really quick. We'll get that list out to you. We're getting prices on these each and every day. And at all times, we have about 50 that we're just waiting to get a price on. So check out the website. We'll get you priority access to those. You can give us a call with that. And one of those crazy deals we just got, it was a foreclosure and commercial property right in downtown Myrtle Beach on Broadway. Nice place. I went and checked it out myself, $109,000. And that's mind-blowing. And, that's an easy thing. You can literally own that for less than you can rent in a lot of cases and build your business along with building equity in your commercial property. So
All
we
right.
need investors out there. Check us out, call us, get on the website, and we'll get you access to that just like all the other ones we have too.
Yeah, so you can go on to the website, blakesloanradio.com, and find out more about that, blakesloanradio.com, or give Blake a call at 808-SOLD. That's area code 843-808-SOLD. Blake, 30 minutes went by like that today.
A lot of great stuff we'll cover next week too. And I'll also post some really cool stuff on the website to help follow up and fill the pieces there.
If you need any information, if you want to find out why your home's not selling, if you want to find out about buying, whatever the case may be, tips, tricks, it's all right there at blakesloanradio.com, or again, call 808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. Blake, next week, we'll see you again.
Thanks a lot. Yep. Looking
All right.
forward to it.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan on Hot Talk 99.5 WRNN.
Do you need to sell your home? Hello, it's Glenn Beck, and I know how frustrating it is. I mean, I sold my home a couple of weeks ago, and it took me a year and a half to do it. And I want to tell you about a realtor based in Myrtle Beach that I have personally met with. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group, who has an immediate buyout program that allows you to sit down with him, determine a price and a deadline. And if Blake doesn't sell it on time, Blake's going to buy it for cash. Now, this isn't smoke and mirrors. Blake owns a property management company and is always looking for great properties in Myrtle Beach to turn into rentals. But more importantly, month after month, Blake uses aggressive marketing to attract hundreds of buyers from all around the U.S. that helps his home sell faster and for the most money. Working with Blake puts you at no risk. If he doesn't live up to his end of the contract, he lets you tear it up so you can work with somebody else. Give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or BlakesGuarantee.com. That's BlakesGuarantee.com.